Hello, Charles Knapp. I'm on here again, producing a video thanks to Mark S. And I'm entitling this video, How They Do That. And this is pretty much a guesstimate on how they did that. Basically, what we're looking at is Byron Preiss' The Secret, in the back of the book, the cartoons. Mark wanted to know how they did that. How could that be possible? Well, let's talk about it. We'll go to the sophomore jinx, because that's what we were discussing at the time. And here's the first page of that. And you can see there's a cartoon, smaller one. But we're going to look at the bigger one, the larger one. And you see there's a lot going on here. And if you don't believe that the back of the book has anything to do with solving the puzzles, well, I don't know what I can do for you. I've produced a lot of videos on that, and I don't think that all of this stuff would be in the back of the book just as some kind of trashy filler or gobbledygook. But anyway, getting back to the question how they did that and why and what that means. Obviously an artist drew this up and Byron signed off on it. Okay, well, let's look at how they did that. Specifically the top part here. Mark contends that the artist would have known exactly where the cask is, or the artist couldn't have done this. That the artist had to know where it was. Well, I don't think that's true. And we're going to look closer at that. And we'll start with this. And let's suppose Byron started with a blank piece of paper and he knew where the cask was. The artist didn't need to know. In fact, Byron didn't want them to know. He wanted to know them as little as possible. Well, let's start off. Byron puts up here dorm room, and then he starts drawing. And he does a sketch, okay? So I'm going to try to do this. Oh, we're going to time this. Let's see how long it would take. We're starting my... Alright, so the clock is running. Alright. Byron draws a triangle. Start with that. It's a dorm room. It's on the wall. Triangle. We got a sock coming down. Now, my sketches are lousy. I'm not an artist. He puts in a sock coming down from the triangle. And Byron puts in an octagonal shaped stop sign on his sketch. Okay? Got a stop sign. And I'm sure Byron or whoever could draw, Byron could draw it better than I can, obviously. And at the top of the stop sign, the sock ends about where the T on the word stop is. The sock ends there, the foot ends there. Oh, Byron wants a keg, a round keg with a spout. And if you look closely, there's our beer keg. I'm a terrible artist, but here's our beer keg with the tap part. And here's our water bottle. I hope you can see that. Water bottle, it's Perrier. So Byron says that, he writes on there, Perrier, bottle of water, Perrier. Okay, then below that, he wants a pizza box with a piece of pizza, and it's going to be pepperoni. So he's got 3 dots for the pepperoni in there. And then Byron thought, okay, well, this is about this and that, and the wording on the opposite page, and we got a cane on the drawing on the opposite page. So Byron says, I want a cane coming across here like that. And guess what? That makes an X. Okay, and Byron says, I want a receiver. And if you're back in the day, you knew what a stereo receiver looked like. It had buttons, and it had other little dials, and so he wanted 3 buttons here, 4 over here, and he also wanted this cane bisecting, cutting across the rectangle. And I know I'm a lousy artist, and it's going to show up soon, and you're going to laugh at me. But if you look, and we'll get to it, this bisection is off. But he wanted that coming across such that there's a triangle right here. And if you looked at the bottom, some big tennis shoes down below. So Byron sketches that in. And he wants them to look like the bottom of a spacesuit, spaceman's shoes. And the hat tip Keith Holiday for finding this. Why? Because giant step. Those are giant tennis shoes. And let's put some ivy leaves down here in this corner. And there's a reason for that too. Okay, so there is a sketch. I'm going to stop the clock. Stop. Oh, how long did it take Byron to do that? A grand total of 3 minutes. Now, if he took more time and did a nicer sketch, well, okay, so it took him 5 minutes. Okay, so, wow, that just, I mean, how could Byron do that? You know, a whole 3 minutes doing that. So, Byron hands this to an artist that's employed and says, I want this drawing. And Byron might have put some other things in there. Now, Mark contends that the artist would know, oh, okay, the artist, now he knows where the cask is. Really? He knows that this came from this, and the artist also is familiar with where this is and what this is. I don't think so. Okay, so why does that drawing represent this drinking fountain that's operated by the foot? And there's another view. Well, here's why. This is why Byron wanted this stuff in the art. This isn't just some funny, goofy art in the back of the book that doesn't mean anything. He wanted a triangle because it's a triangle puzzle. There's 3, 4, 5 clues throughout. Here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5 triangle. See how that bisects and cuts across? There's your right angle. Here's your beer keg. Why a Perrier bottle of water? Because of passing fancies, which is also related, and that's in another video. I'm not going to go through that right now. But he's showing us here, X marks the spot right here. You use the 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's a shadow puzzle. I drew this in. This is me in my fine art. Shadow off of the drinking fountain. Here's a triangle, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure exactly how that lines up down here. Probably from this corner. The shadow projects out to like 5 feet at June the 6th, 6 p.m. You can do the sun calc. I've shown that before. Here's our X over here. And you can see this represents the top bowl of the water fountain, the drinking fountain. That's why that's there. This is the drain. The water goes down. This is where the water comes out. This is the spout of the water. It's a drinking fountain. This is where you put your foot right on that T, which is actually, you can see that closer on a close-up. Here we go. This actually makes a T down here underneath this. But that's, if you want to say, well, that's stretchy, well, fine. But the rest of it it just all adds up. I don't know how anyone could say this is not this. This doesn't localize. It localizes. That's what the back of the book art does. It tells you exactly where the cask is found. Now, if you want to join my willy-nilly digging company team that likes to dig a lot without all the clues and just pick a large area and start doing GPR and digging holes, well, there you go. You can apply, but I don't know if you're going to get in. Do not dig this spot. This is now federally protected land. When the cask was buried, the city owned this. But in 2008, this became federally protected. There might be cameras there. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to pay a lot of money. I am working on getting permission to dig through an archaeologist. I don't see any other way to do it. In any event, I hope this answers the question initially posed of how they do that. Thank you.